Good evening. I'm Bruce Goodwin, and I'm president of Flaming Pine Youth Camp. And I'm going to be making a presentation, a report, to describe and talk about the past year for the corporate meeting. I'm going to be doing this by categories. First of all, in terms of camp sessions for this past summer, we have some really good news. And that is that 2022 was the first summer since COVID for the normal number of camp sessions. We had to reduce that number in 2021. Also, which is really important, we had, as often is the case, we had really good counselors this year, again, which is very important, of course, for the campers. The number of attendees from the 2021 numbers was up about 13%. And we had a promotion that first-time campers could come free, and that really worked well. There are some ongoing challenges for camp. One of them is that the total numbers over the last 5 years average compared to the 5 years previous to that are down about 20%. It's not totally unusual for camps to have experience of this, especially with COVID, and then many camps are also having to increase their camper registration fees, which for some campers is a challenge. This all means that all of us need to be thinking of and inviting campers to attend Flaming Pine Youth Camp, to be thinking about who could come and sort of having our eyes and ears open to consider and be people that not only support the camp financially, but also are trying to recruit and encourage people to attend camp. Toward that end, Paul Maynard and Kyle Halliday and others are looking for and implementing ways to increase attendance, including going to churches and different schools to inform and describe and the camp and the just great assets we have, and in terms of just the blessings that come from people attending camp. So they're increasing the exposure the camp has in terms of letting people know about it. Secondly, in terms of facilities, we've had a number of upgrades. The camp has been in existence over 40 years, and so some of the buildings are needing attention, and we're getting many of those projects done. For example, a new steel roof has been put on the caretaker's house and the office. The bathroom above the office has been remodeled, and there's this new steel roof on the infirmary. In addition, for next year, the sojourners will be coming again, and of course they always provide a lot of great labor for us and help with projects. We do have needs in terms of the facilities. We're in need of a better computer with up-to-date software to manage registration online and help in the communication process, and that'd really be a huge advantage for us. And so that's in process. The infirmary needs a new floor, and we already have the funds available for that. The shop needs new rafters, and this is a huge project. And Randy Peeney has hired a contractor, and the cost is going to be about, we're hoping, around $20,000, which may sound a lot, which it is, of course, but compared to some other estimates that we've had from other contractors, the prices could have been up around $65,000. So we've really been blessed over the years to having caretakers that have been frugal and are really trying to get work done at the best kind of prices. So that's all good. Also, the Togo Dome is needing some work done on its pilings because they're shifting, and that's affecting the rafters. So that's a project that needs to be worked on. One of the things I wanted to highlight about all of the facilities and upgrades is that there's an enormous need, a tremendous need for volunteers to help with maintenance and other projects around the camp. Uh, Traditionally, there's been work weekends on Memorial Day and Labor Day and some other times, and if those don't fit you, or there are other times that are better for you, the board really wants to encourage people to gather some other folks together and come up when it's convenient for you and pick a project that you're interested in. So if you have that would really help. It reduces the costs and it gets things done. So consider thinking about that. So talk to Randy Peeney about projects that need to be done up there, and then just make your own plan. I mean, work it out with Randy and the Buildings and Grounds Committee, but make a plan to go up there and just get it done. Then thirdly, in terms of finances, it's really good. We're in good financial shape with our own stable footing, our treasurer tells us, Chico Ford. In terms of specific fundraisers, FunFest in April brought in $20,300. That's just phenomenal for FunFest. And then the Tour de Togo this past summer brought in $10,000. So all that's just really helpful in providing funding for the camp. There are challenges in terms of finances for the camp, and some of this won't be a surprise to you. Food costs have gone up about 32%, and utilities up about 30%. And you've probably experienced that in your own homes. Now, a piece that I wanted to make sure you knew was that the revenue we bring in from camper registration fees covers about 30% of the cost of running the camp. And so what that means is that the other 70% has to be raised in one way or another through fundraisers and the 360 campaign or telethons, all those sort of things. And so just to have your awareness of what it takes to keep these camps running. And so you'll be ready to give later and know how important that is. There are also enough short-term funds to operate through the balance of the calendar year, but there, again, needs to be fundraising to carry us through the summer of 2023, so that's on the horizon. We do have a strategy for that. There is going to be a fundraiser in November, telethon and other things. So if you get an email or a phone call from us, we hope you'll donate generously, and we really that's always been the experience we've had of people really giving, particularly when they know what the need is, and that's why I've highlighted what it costs to run the camp and the needs there. Also, in terms of strategy, there will be a slight raise in the fees, and about 12%. And we've compared that with other camps, so we're trying to be very careful about that. But just our assessment is that they needed to be raised some. But the board is also very careful, and the caretakers and Julie Peeney and others that are taking in registrations, or if you know someone that just doesn't have the money to come to camp, we don't want that to be any kind of barrier to anyone. And so we will figure out a way to get them there. There are also scholarships available, and there are cases in which I or others, we know of a family or family or campers that need help, and we just figure that out and get those funds for them. So. But there is this slight increase. And also we're trying to get our attendance up, and I already mentioned that before. And you can help with that as well. And then continue with our donation base. And if you're already doing that, consider the 360 Avenue. It's on the website, and monthly donation. One of the ways that's helpful is it just provides a steady stream, and you set it once and you forget it. and it just comes out of your checking account. I'm doing that with Flaming Pine Youth Camp, and I also have another group that another nonprofit that I donate to, and occasionally increase it. But I just set it years ago. A certain amount comes out monthly, and it's really slick and just a great way to do that. And then I don't even have to think about it at the end of the year unless I want to have a little extra cash and I want to send it somewhere. So consider doing that, and consider even increasing your contribution because these costs keep rising like everything else. In summary, we just have a really dedicated, hard-working group of board members. It's been a privilege to me to serve with this group. I'm kind of new to camp, but I've just thought, wow, this is a great group to work with. So I want you to know about that. Occasionally we need replacements for the board. So if you're in the history, have a history with the camp in terms of just knowing it's blessed and you'd like to help in that kind of way, hope you'll consider running to be a member of the board, or in terms of nominating someone. And also, of course, the awesome group of volunteers we have that make it work. I think of teachers, directors, the chefs. The chefs are just amazing. The cooks, they work so hard, and they just put out fantastic meals, which is not easy for the size of groups they're working with. So that's fantastic. As I mentioned before, people that are members or friends of the camp are just tremendously generous, and we're really grateful for that. It wouldn't happen without these folks. We all know what a blessing Flaming Pine Youth Camp has been, and it's really, I would call it holy ground. It's been holy ground for youth, adults, and families for over 45 years, and it continues to be that. The board and caretakers, sometimes people write the caretakers a letter about memories of how wonderful camp was, and we kind of hear it secondhand, but they're just fantastic, of those whose lives have been greatly impacted by their experience at Flaming Pine Youth Camp. So, hope you will continue to find ways to invite people, support the camp financially, and help with the many work projects, and continue to pray. Continue to pray for the camp and the board. May you be blessed in all your service, whether it's to the camp or however it is, to the Lord. Good night.